today's video is going to be about changes that you may or may not experience while your dog is fighting cancer. So we're pretty new to the dog cancer fight. Raven is my first dog, and this is the first time that we're dealing with canine cancer. So we are learning, and one of the things that I've noticed is that things are changing, both like physically and behaviorally. And of course, these are things that I didn't expect. I thought, you know, cancer is a disease, it's physical, it's going to take a toll on her body, but we're learning that there's actually other things that it can affect, especially her behavior and her appetite and things like that. So if you have just gotten your diagnosis, this video will be helpful because you can kind of prepare yourself for the roller coaster ahead, and it'll kind of give you some insight so you don't totally freak out like I did when you see these things happen. Or if you've been fighting for a while, it might just be comforting to know that we're going through the same thing too, and we hope to hear your feedback in the comments below if there's anything we missed or if you guys are in the same boat as us. So stay tuned. So we haven't posted anything in a little while, and things have kind of been a roller coaster here. There's been a little bit of change in the house. We had a rescue staying with us, and that completely stressed Raven out. And then my fiance was out of town for work, and that completely stressed her out. So things have been kind of hectic. Easy. So the first thing that we of course notice is sleep. Raven sleeps like 20 hours out of the day. And before she had gotten sick, she was this crazy, hyper, kind of annoying dog. And she usually wouldn't sit still for very long. She's very anxious and neurotic, just like me. So that was definitely the biggest change. And at first, you're kind of very accepting of it, right? I'm like, all right, her body is fighting this disease. It needs time to rest. Like every fiber in her being is battling this thing. So just let her sleep and let her sleep. And I mean, we've been fighting since November of 2017, and she's been sleeping more and more. Now, granted, the things that we do for our treatment, for our holistic treatment of cancer, will make her tired. So she's on cannabis oils and specifically magnesium for like stiffness and pain. And those two things will knock you out. So she does sleep most of the day. And after a couple months of accepting it, you finally start to like think, am I making the right decision, right? Is this dog happy? Like she literally sleeps all day. She's not playing like she used to. She's not interested in us like she used to be. And it's a really hard truth to face.
All right, you want to go out? Raven, you want to go outside? Come on, Ray, let's go outside.
But you have to look at the positive side. If they are sleeping and sleeping a lot, they're comfortable. They might not have any energy, but being able to sleep means that they're not in pain. So I know that because when, you know, she first got the tumor and she was like yelping, she couldn't get comfortable, she couldn't get herself in a comfortable position. So now the sleep is kind of a relief. But you just have to stay positive, let them sleep. The body regenerates itself and heals itself through sleep. So as hard as it is, you kind of just have to accept that their bodies are busy doing other things like killing cancer. So there's gonna be a couple months where you're gonna miss your best friend. And you have to just be supportive and stay positive and kind of understand the biology and the science behind what sleep does improvement-wise for their body. So with that being said, the second thing, of course, is lack of energy. So like I said, Raven was such a personality. You know, at 8 o'clock on the dot, she would start like being vocal because she knew it was dinner time. Or if you were petting her and you stopped, she would like paw your hand. Like all our dogs have these quirks that we love about them, right? A lot of that has gone away, and it sucks and it's sad and it breaks my heart, but at the same time, it's because she's so tired, right? She has no energy. And for a while, when you debate and you're like, is this quality of life? Am I doing the right thing? I read on one of the canine cancer cannabis groups that we're a part of that better high and tired than dead. So I'm like, you know what? Give her body this chance to fight. If we do all we can, and you know, we keep up with her regimen, we keep up with her supplements, with her acupuncture, with her diet, and we take advantage of the good days and let her sleep away the bad days, and then hopefully we do something right, and 1, 2, 3 months from now, this will all be behind us. Hand in hand with the lack of energy is the fact that Raven never wants to go outside. Like, I've been stressing myself out, panicking because she's only going outside to pee maybe like twice a day, if that. And her bowel movements aren't normal because she's not eating normal, because she's always so picky. So it's just been so stressful, and there are nights where I have to literally lift her off the couch and go all the way down the hall to the elevator, down the elevator, across the lobby, like place her in the spot outside where she likes to pee. She'll pee, and then sometimes she'll feel like walking back inside on her own, and other times I have to carry her right back up. So that's the biggest struggle too, because I'm like a real big worry wart, if you can't tell already, but I'm like, oh my God, she's gonna get a UTI, like there's bacteria brewing in her bladder, so I start to freak out when she doesn't go regularly, but we're working on that now. I've actually put down like a wee-wee pad in the house to kind of give her a comfortable place if she has to go, that way she's not holding it. The struggle is going to be training her. So after 7 years of telling her it's terrible to have accidents in the house, it's going to take a little bit of work for us to figure that out. Who knows? It might not even have like work, and we might just end up carrying her the whole time. But again, you just have to stay patient with them. They will go when they have to. And of course, there are other symptoms, and these are the physical things that we're experiencing now that I've like never seen before, and I mean, they're related to the cancer, I'm assuming. Every time they happen though, we do try to take pictures or videos, and we show them to our vet just to make sure it's not some unrelated issue. But most of the time it just has to do with the cancer. So, you know, cancer affects your entire body. So there are gonna be strange, what I'll call secondary symptoms that you'll be seeing. And at first, some of them are really scary or really unexpected, but hopefully you guys followed my advice and found a vet that you trust, and you can chat with your vet about it. So some of the things we've noticed in Raven is her ears are like especially dirty. And I mean, she eats a really clean diet. There's definitely not like yeast issues. She's not scratching as if like the way she used to when she had allergies, when we were still kibble fed. So there's just gunk in there. I mean, some people say, oh, you know, her body's detoxing, and we do give her a lot of detox boosting supplements, but who knows what it is. So we have to clean her ears pretty often, which is something that we never used to do before she got sick. The second thing that we're recently noticing, or actually a couple of the things that are coming up lately, are because the tumor is touching her spinal cord and her brain. So I'm gonna do a separate video about her recent CT scan results. The good news is that the thyroid tumor has gotten smaller. The bad news, okay, so if originally it was like a grapefruit, right? And it was a ball, so picture a ball of dough. So it was like really wide, it was pressing on her trachea, it was pressing on everything that's in your neck, your carotid artery, like literally everything. So it's reduced in size this way, and it's stretched. So the ends that have stretched, one end is like right in her like brain and top of the vertebrae where the spinal cord is. So we are expecting a lot of strange things to start happening. These secondary symptoms that I'm talking about, we've already started to see a few. We're gonna try to get ahead of the curve, and we're actually gonna see a physical therapist that helps dogs with or recovering from neurological issues. Before things get too bad, you wanna try to do what you can, right? So I say this with food, like feed your dog as much as he wants, like don't make him overweight, but there's gonna be days where he's not gonna wanna eat. So you're gonna wish that you fed that little bit extra on his good day. And so we're looking at that kind of same approach for the physical therapy. Like Raven is still pretty mobile, so we want to do the physical therapy and kind of strengthen and spruce everything up and keep her nerves like open and active while she has the energy and the ability to do so. All right, so back to these secondary symptoms. So the gunky ears was something that we noticed. She was drooling a lot, and I have a feeling this has to do with the fact that it's in her neck, right? And it was this like weird, thick, sticky drool. It wasn't like your normal drooling for food drool. It had like the consistency of egg whites, and it was obnoxious amounts of drool. So we looked up Dr. Judy Morgan's video on phlegm fighting foods for dogs, and I'll link that below. We talk about it in Raven's home cooked recipe too. So that did help, and now that the thyroid tumor is decreasing, we definitely don't see as much drool as we used to. But I guess that's unique to our case. If you're fighting a different cancer that's like unrelated to the throat or mouth, you might not see those symptoms. So as I said recently, it's like creeping into her brain and spinal cord. So we're starting to see weird things with her balance. I don't even know how to pronounce it. It's called like proprioception or something like that. And it basically is knowing where your feet are. So she has been like totally off balance, and sometimes her paws will knuckle over and she doesn't fix them or correct her posture right away. It also could be because she's dizzy. So we're doing acupuncture points for that. The physical therapist is actually why we want to go, because of this whole off-putting or not knowing where your feet are thing. And I mean, it makes sense, right? There are so many like nerves and nerve receptors in your brain. And if there's a tumor shifting things around or pressing on some kind of nerve, it's going to translate to your motor skills. So we're trying to get ahead of the curve on that. Hopefully it doesn't get too bad. We're trying to stay positive. And then also with the dizziness thing, we noticed like 2 days ago that she's got this really strange discharge in her ears. So I said her ears are gunky, and we've been cleaning them, and that's just like your average earwax. Like our Healthy Dog Rush gets it all the time, and they look like the same consistency. The vet said it's like normal-ish buildup. Like, yeah, it's a lot, but it's not ear mites or anything like that. But lately we've been noticing this like pouring liquidy discharge. So luckily we take pictures of everything so that we can show our vet. And we're gonna talk about that at her acupuncture session later today. I have a feeling that it's like probably got to do with maybe her eardrum or something, because I mean the tumor is in that region, right? So it's from her thyroid, and if it's creeping into like her brain and spinal cord, it's going from here to here. So that's your ear. So that's the ear that's pouring out this weird colored discharge. Some other discharge that we've noticed too is in like her lady parts. So Raven stopped grooming herself. I mean, she was never like a groomer to begin with. Like you would catch her like licking every now and again. But when this all first started, the tumor on her neck was causing her so much pain that she couldn't even really turn or like maneuver in that direction. So she just kind of stopped grooming. So we've had to kind of keep up with that. We just use like a diluted apple cider vinegar, or sometimes we'll use colloidal silver. And again, our vet said it's nothing like too alarming. It's just gunkier than usual. And I think with the ear, it's the same thing with the ears. It's because she can't do what she used to. So with the ears, you know, they would scratch them, they would shake. I'm assuming some of the gunk buildup would come like flying out of their ears. And with her grooming her vagina, she can't turn that way. So again, it's just buildup that just gets left there because of the tumor affecting like her mobility and her flexibility and things like that. Another weird symptom I'm noticing is the presence of her third eyelid. I think that's what they call it, but it's basically like a little film that covers the eye, and it's not like the top eyelid that they blink with, but it's like this fleshy colored film that comes from the bottom up, and that has been protruding lately. And when we asked our vet about it, she said that it's not even necessarily related to anything that has to do with their eye all the time. It's just kind of something that happens when a dog is off. It doesn't seem to bother her, and we've like tested her vision. We were nervous she was like going blind in that eye, and she responds fine. And interestingly enough, and I'll bring up the pictures, after acupuncture, it recedes back to its normal position. So, before acupuncture or a couple days after acupuncture, we'll start to notice it protrude more and more, and then it's like acupuncture just kind of like resets her body and makes her feel good, and the thing goes back to normal. It's the strangest thing, and this is probably like the mildest, it doesn't really affect us, but it's just something that we've noticed that was kind of alarming at first, but interesting to see that acupuncture kind of like fixes it. There's a lot of like weird things that we've been experiencing. We track them in our journal. I actually have our journal here, so like everything is in here every time we experience it, so that we know, is it related to something new we're giving her? Is it, does it tend to be a certain time of the day? How long does it go on for? So this again is still like our Bible. And we are noticing positive things too, like the yelping that had started back in like September, beginning of September. It's like mid-October now, so that has gone away, which is good. But again, we're getting all these strange symptoms. So I just wanted to share those things with you guys, because you think cancer, and like with Raven, we thought thyroid cancer. Okay, her neck. All right, clearly the obvious thing. She's gonna have trouble breathing, eating, drinking. But then we're getting like now off balance things and discharge that we've never seen before, and just like a whole wealth of things. And I think you just have to, stay calm and speak to your vet about the things that do pop up, and kind of keep track of these symptoms, and when they happen and how long they go on for, because some things have disappeared. Like I said, the yelping has disappeared. So it's just important to be aware of what's going on. Don't drive yourself crazy doing like a cause and effect, but it's good to just have a journal with all of this in it. It helps you narrow things down. So with that being said, if you guys are experiencing strange symptoms because of your dog's cancer, leave them in the comments, or if you just want to chat or want to suggest a topic for our next video, we're always open to suggestions. So stay tuned. The next video, we will be talking about her CT scan results. Thanks, guys.